So you harass and stalk our customers.
Yes,
That's
she
the bottom
does.
line.
Well, not all of
So if
Not
you're
all
ever
of
harassed and stalked
Not
by
all
so
of
many
them.
creations, it's Marlene.
And as she just clarified, not all of them. So if you would like to be stalked and harassed, I guess you have to let us know. We'll have to chat after Facebook because I had no idea all of these devious things that you do when I'm not around.
Send nice little notes to her.
Sure she does.
This is the problem when you know us personally, is that we're probably going to bother you whenever we get a chance.
Exactly.
That's right.
Good morning, everybody.
Oh my goodness.
They're all here. We're late to the
Is
party.
she there?
Sorry.
There's Sue.
Not yet. Helene's
Sue's there.
Oh, there she is.
Just talking about you, Sue.
Oh, you missed it, Sue. We were talking about you.
So, not that I have an actual answer for this or not, but I just happened to look at a couple, because I got reminders on Facebook of like last year's videos, because I was looking at my t-shirts that I was wearing. And the videos on Facebook, and I don't understand the technology enough. The videos on Facebook some days are rough. Like, they're grainy, sometimes it freezes. I just want you guys to know that I literally have no control over that. So as many comments as you want to leave telling me that I froze, asking about what's going on, I cannot help that at all. I don't understand why. But when I upload them to YouTube, they're clear. So I don't really know the reason. So if we're too much for you, and I don't mean those people. If this is like, oh, it's so frustrating, she freezes, or it's raining right now and it's grainy, give it a couple hours and watch it on YouTube, because apparently it's better, and I don't know why that is. It's something about the live streaming video on Facebook. It's just not great. So, which I knew, but then I guess I never watch them on YouTube, so I always assumed that they were like on there as well. And then I just happened to look. I was like, is it that bad on YouTube? And it's better.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I love when you guys are here, but if this is frustrating for you, trust me, I understand, and you can watch it.
Before you get started, Charlie has a question.
Yes.
It's a quick question.
Okay.
Is there a way to figure out what color Essex linen one has? I needed to order more to finish my birds, and I think I ordered the wrong one.
Buy an Essex linen card is probably the only way. No,
There's
hold
no
on.
salvage with anything on
There's
there.
no salvage. If it's from us, I can look in your order history. They took the order history away from you to be able to look at it, but I can look at it. If it's just something you bought in general and you don't know where, there's so many that are so close together that you would probably benefit from just getting a card, which you can usually find on Etsy. But if it's from us, just send me an email and I can look through your history and tell you what you have. We don't have a ton that are super close together. Like, there's a couple, but if you tell me, like, I bought a really pale green, we probably know it's seafoam. But I can look for you and tell you. So, before we do anything, do you want to pill a name?
Do you want to pill a name?
Guys, I had a rough week, and I'm just
pill
done.
a name.
Pill a name. Shake them up.
Shake 'em
Or
up.
am I pulling? Are you pulling? What are we doing?
pulling it.
Or you're
I
pulling?
hand it to you.
Shake
Okay.
'em up.
But I'm going to peek
Why don't I
first.
pull it?
She's gonna peek first. Well, how
So I
about?
know, okay.
Oh.
There you go. I know. Ahead of you.
Phyllis Farmer. I don't know if she's watching or if she does watch, but Phyllis Farmer, you are today's winner of a $50 gift card. I am trying really hard to get all of the words in the right order today. I'm not good at them. I've had a very week, so that's all I'm saying. Because I can't swear on here even though I want to, but I'm not. So before we talk about today's topic, I wanted to show you guys some stuff because I want to brag for a minute about how nice my customers are. Sue Smith, we were talking about you, not because of this, for other reasons, but I asked permission. Sue, at our retreat last week, has it really been a week?
Yes.
My God. The days are, it's the 15th of October. I'm having a moment. I can't even get past that. Sue gave me, this bag full of stuff. And I'm not going to show you every single thing in here, but I wanted to just show you a couple of things because she just made my day. She made me a ginger wallet. I told you guys I wanted to show you that. And it's in Halloween colors. And you may or may not have noticed that I kind of like Halloween.
She's the queen of Halloween.
I'm wearing my Michael Myers shirt today. Do you like
I
it?
like that.
Yes, Michael Myers was ahead of all of us for years. Because do you know what today is? Do you know what happens today?
No.
the new Halloween movie comes out today. And for those of us, like myself, that are socially awkward and don't like to leave our house until we actually have to, I can stream it on Peacock. So I get to watch it. Brand new movie. And I get to make my own popcorn and not go to the movie theaters. And so that's fun. So let me see. There's a bunch of stuff in here. Somebody else made this. This was not from Sue. Somebody made me this at the retreat. A little donut. It's not edible, but it's cute. And Sue gave me a pin cushion, and she gave me a little bit of cork and fabric that's very Halloween-y.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Isn't that cute? And a little emergency tech kit. There's like cute little things in here to clean your glasses and charge your stuff. And
cute.
I mean, she went all out. She wrote me a really nice note. There's a whole bunch of
All the
fun
stuff
in
I
here.
send her and I don't get any of
And
that
you don't
stuff.
get any, well, because you harass her. It's not, you're not giving her gifts, you're harassing her. That's what you're not understanding.
I think they're as gifts because it's an unexpected thing you got in the mail.
Yeah,
A lot of things are
Some
unexpected, and
people
I don't
like
consider
rubber
gifts.
bands and paper clips. And
You are right, and I guess Sue must because she's never complained about it. So I have to show you, this is the best thing that she gave me, and it's bedazzled, okay? Now, does anyone know what this is? Probably at a glance you don't. But this is a zipper majig thing. I don't know what we actually are calling it.
It's a majig.
So Sue made this for me. This is a towel holder. I don't really understand how it works as a towel holder because we tried it out and it was weird. And like a little piece of tile, and she bedazzled it, which is optional. But you take your zipper pull. I'm not going to be able to do this holding it up, but I will try. And you put your zipper pull on, you put it in here so it stays put, and you put it in backwards. And then you take your zipper and you open up your zipper a little bit, and then your zipper also goes in backwards. So let me try this, because I only have two hands, so I really can't do it holding it up. But I also can't do it upside down.
I can tip the.
No tipping.
Okay.
Hold on. I can't do it upside down. The longest
Nobody can see
Facebook
you anyway,
no,
so-
the longest Facebook Live ever because I can't use my zipper majig thing because my zipper is crappy at the end. Crappy's not a swear word. I can say that, right?
Right.
Okay. Sorry, Mark Zuckerberg. All right. So you get it started, and look at that. You can put your zipper on, and then you pop it out, and your zipper pull is on. So if Sue Smith is watching and has a moment and wants to indulge all of us, maybe she'll give us a little bit of information. If you want to make your own, yours will not come bedazzled. You'd have to do that yourself. But if you're having a problem with zipper pulls, you can use one of these. And I don't usually have a problem with zipper pulls, but why not use assistance when needed? And I had asked her to bring hers to the retreat so I could look at it because everyone was talking about it, and she made me one. So thank you, Sue. And I wanted to show you what I made at the retreat, which is not much. I told you last week, and yes, I am a freak, and I'm well aware of it, but it matches my shirt. I made myself a little Halloween daybreak wallet. So it has spider webs and bats, Michael Myers, and blood. So that's for me. That's my seasonal wallet. And then I started an aria for myself, which I'm hoping to get done. We leave for Texas in less than 2 weeks, so we'll see how that goes. But I started it, and look at my giant
the
zipper pulls.
pulls.
They're so cute. I do use them, not all of them. My little credit card pockets, and it's vinyl. So I was making this on my Janome HD9 because it loves thick layers and loves vinyl, and it did amazing. So I'm partly there. I mean, this is a start. I just have to do the rest of the bag, but that's okay.
So 2 weeks.
I got less than 2 weeks, but it's okay. So before we talk about today's topic, ouch, Barb has a question.
Yep.
Yes.
Cindy would like to know if you're going to be ordering more solid colored canvas to use on the Liana bag. Her favorite.
Well, if I can find some good stuff, as you may remember, we ordered the Robert Kaufman Essex canvas, and none of us were a fan of it because it just wasn't heavy enough. We have the black and the gray from Cotton and Steel, which we really like, and I don't know if they have any other solid colors and also if they're in stock, but I will look into it for sure. As you might remember, everything we order is kind of a roll of the dice. Sometimes we get it, sometimes it's quick, sometimes it's not. I have a package waiting from FedEx. I'm waiting for cork to come in, and all they keep telling me is it's potentially delayed because it was supposed to be here yesterday. I still don't know when it's coming. We have had more issues in 2021 than we did in 2020. Everything is kind of now rolling into back orders. We deal with it here too with getting parts and tires and everything. So I will look and see what I can get, and I will let you know. But as of right now, I don't have anything solid canvas on order. So, yes.
And they would like to know where you got the vinyl for your daybreak.
Oh,
Or
this
daybreak,
is
that-
from...
that. Oh no, for the daybreak.
Oh, for the daybreak.
Yeah.
This is partly from AV's Crafting. It's AV, apostrophe S. I think it's Crafting. She was on Etsy. And some of the rest of it, that was where I got the Michael Myers and the blood splatter. The spider webs and the bats were from Frog Jelly. Such a terrible
that's
name.
awful.
It just makes you want to barf. Frog Jelly.
Want some frog jelly for your
You want
toast?
some frog jelly on your toe? Like, ugh. And that is also on Etsy. And that is where I got this one too. So those are the two that I have ordered from. I will, when we're done with the video, if I remember, I will try to link them and I'll put little links to their Etsy shop so that you can find them. And I think AV's has a regular website that has more of a selection, but Frog Jelly, I think, was only on Etsy. I will look that up for you. So, a couple of quick things. Since we were talking about retreats, our January retreat is almost full. Like, we have like 2-3 spots left. So if you're on the fence, if you're thinking, if you're like, oh, I think I want to come, don't wait too long because I think this morning, did I say 3? I think we have 3.
yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
FedEx. That might be Cork. We don't know. So we have like 3 spots left. So if you want to come, I want to make sure that you have a spot. We do take care of the hotel for you. That's why there's a deposit and a balance if you're staying. We also have day tripper spots. It's just the body count of how many spots we have at tables. So don't worry about the hotel. That part is on us. We take care, Barb does all of that. Barb takes care of that, but I need to make sure that we have a place for you to sit. So if you're hesitating, don't. And March is creeping up there. March is not as close as January, but March, we got like a ton of people signing up between our in-person retreat and then online. So if you're thinking about them, do it now. I don't want you to get bumped. We will still be doing virtual retreats next year. I just haven't planned any dates just because we have a lot going on between in-person, us going to Branson, me teaching, which I did tell you guys, and then a few of you might have missed that announcement. I am teaching in Branson. We're all going just to go. To cause chaos, to have a meetup of some sort, to have some fun, to do whatever we feel like doing in Branson. And the last thing I just want to say before we get into our topic, and I have pages of notes for you for today, and I hope you have questions because I'm happy to answer them. I just want to address really quickly our group again, because our group is growing. We are getting more people watching, more people, joining our group. Just a few reminders. The group is a So Many Creations group. It is So Many Creations patterns only. I can't promote other people's patterns because no one promotes me and because I can't get into trash talk and all that kind of nonsense. I see it in other groups and I don't like it and I'm not going to be part of it. I don't want to delete your post. I don't want to remove you. So just stick to the very simple rules. You have a question? Ask it. You want color help? Ask it. If you're working on the swap, I've seen a lot of people putting their swap stuff out there, which is awesome. I haven't been checking the names, but I've been looking and I'm like, ooh, I think that's a partner. I think they got an answer. I hope they got an answer. That's fine. If you are going to be talking poorly about anyone, including myself or any other businesses, I can't.
Bye-bye.
I'm in some other bad groups. I'm kind of a lurker. I just kind of watch from the sidelines. I don't say much of anything, but I keep seeing it over and over, and then I see an admin jump in at the last minute and it's already gotten kind of ugly and it's unfortunate, and I'm not doing that in our group, and you're all wonderful, so stay wonderful because I don't want to have to eliminate anybody. I am not the only admin. I do have other admins. We're all watching, so please just keep in mind that it is not a place to complain. It's a place for happy stuff. It's a happy, nice group, and it needs to stay that way, which always makes me nervous as it grows because now I have more things to monitor, but I want to keep it that way, and I will probably add more admins as the group gets bigger just so that we have extra sets of eyes. So that's all I wanted to say. Do you have any questions or anything for me before I get started? Yes.
Cindy says there's no room for smash talk in our group. Let me just see if
There's not.
No, I think nothing else right now.
Okay. If you have any questions, Barb's going to jot them down so that we can, she can ask me at a good point because, once I get talking, sometimes I don't stop talking, and I have a lot of stuff to share with you. So we have talked about this before, but it was a long, long time ago. It was like probably way in the beginning, like June of last year. And I'm happy to talk about it again. I'm happy to revisit any topics because, like I said, we get new people or there's, my opinions of things change, things happen. So I'm happy to revisit any topics. And this one was requested because I've seen a lot of people in the group asking questions about pricing, and I've seen it in actually a lot of groups selling bags. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, before I talk about anything, I just want you to understand, I am not an expert and I am not claiming to be. I don't right now currently sell bags anymore. I used to. I'm going to give you a little history of how this all happened real quickly so that you can understand why I am talking about this topic, but why right now I am not an expert. You are welcome to chime in if you're selling bags and you have your 2 cents to put in, please. For everybody else, that would definitely help out. A lot of people are trying to get into having a bag making business. Whatever I say, just because it didn't work for me, doesn't mean it won't work for you. Just because I don't care for a certain platform or I, think things are better one way, don't feel like I am knocking you at all. If you're like, you don't like it, but I like it, that's fine. That's great. So I'm just going to give you my experiences. I actually have some some numbers that will share with you just so that you can understand. So if you're really new to this and you want to get into it so that you can understand kind of what you're up against, because I think there's a lot of important things to talk about aside from just how much do I mark up a bag, which we will talk about it all as well. We won't talk about that at all. We will talk about that as well. So since the age of 16, I have worked retail of some sort. So I have dealt with customers. I have dealt with the general public for a very long time. Some people, like my husband, have never had jobs like that and don't know how it is dealing with the general public. So, he was a truck driver. He's a mechanic. So his experiences are a little bit different. Marlene has kind of done a little bit of both. You've worked in an office and you've also bartended and done things like that. You've done kind of the worst. Barb worked in the credit part, like the the bad part.
Auto claims.
You've done auto claims, so we all have a little bit different experience with customers. Barb did sell bags. Yeah. We might ask her opinion. Marlene is selling a little bit. We might have her opinion too. Like I said, since 16 have worked like retail jobs. I've always worked with the public, always worked with retail jobs. I have seen the worst that people can behave, and it continues to get worse. I think the internet has ruined people, but that's a whole other topic. Amazon's also ruined a lot of people, but that's okay. But going to shows and seeing the things that I've seen at shows, and also what I do now, I'm a service writer, a secretary. I'm all of the things at our repair business. So I deal with people there too. And keep in mind, when you're dealing with people with their cars are a necessity. That doesn't always mean they want to spend money. And dealing with people with bags are not a necessity. So just remember that they don't need this bag. And the one thing I'm going to say it now, and I'm probably going to say it 5 more times. Do not adjust your pricing to fit someone else's budget. They don't need to buy a bag from you. So we'll talk about that. So, excuse me, around 2006, 2007, I really got into bag making. I was engaged. We were planning our wedding. I made bags for all my bridesmaids. It was not a business at that point. I was just making bags for fun. I had an employer at the time who was like, bring your stuff here and we can sell it through my shop. That didn't work very well for many reasons. But, it was an offer and I was young and I was like, I'll take whatever I can get. She likes my stuff. That's cool. It didn't really work out that well. But I tried it. Now, up until making bags, I have done like craft fairs and stuff, and I'm not talking the big ones. I'm not talking, you probably have one in your area that's like the big one, where like the real artists go. I'm talking church bazaar kind of things. When I made jewelry and like little beaded things, nothing fancy, and when I did stuff like that, so we're talking like it's $50 for a table, and I might walk away making $300 and thinking I had an amazing day. I sat outside in the sun a lot. Spent a lot of my weekends just making inventory. So I did a lot of that. And when I got into bag making, all of my friends and my family kept saying, sell your stuff. It's so pretty. Sell your stuff. And how much do you hear that? You always hear it from the non-sewers in your family and your friends. Oh, your stuff's so beautiful. You should sell it. You should sell it. You should get an Etsy store. You should sell your stuff. It's great. Those people are great. They're great for the encouragement. Not always great because they don't really understand what goes on behind a business. So I didn't sell them through Etsy. I was selling them to my friends and my family. I was making them for people like my mom who would take it to work with her and show her friends. My husband, he's so cute, would take them to work with him and sell them to the men that he worked with. Your wife needs this. Your wife needs this. I don't know why I just got super New York. Your wife needs this. Yeah. I'm not from New York. I'm from New York. So that's how he would sell a lot of them. And he'd come home and he would take arms full of bags, bring them in, and then come home with nothing. And he'd go, here's your money. So I never really knew what was going on. So what I started doing, and I would highly recommend that no one does this. 10 out of 10 do not recommend, but I did it. It was my method. And I know I've told you guys this before. It was the day of Madison handbags. Remember Madison? You'd have a sales rep come in and show you all the fabric and make you a bag. And I'm sorry to tell you, but all the Madison handbags that I saw were never stitched that well. They were never put together really nicely, and people were paying top dollar for them. Top stitching was not good. And I was like, well, if they're paying top dollar for this, I'll do it. I'll be your new Madison handbag person, but it'll be Jessica's bags, and I will make them, and I'll do a great job. You wanna customize that? You want a longer strap? I can do that. You wanna, add something fancy? I can do that. Don't ask me about zippers. I don't do those. I don't do zipper closures, but you want Velcro? I got Velcro. So I made a lot of bags like that. And what I would do, and this was the biggest gamble of my life and the worst decision, but somehow 99% of the time it worked out okay. I would go to the local fabric store. Pat, I'm really sorry if you're watching. And I would pick out a bunch of fabrics, make sure I had some that coordinated, and I would buy like an eighth or a quarter of a yard, whatever the minimum was that they would sell me. Which also was stupid because you can't really do much with like a strip of fabric, but whatever. I don't want to spend a lot of money now. And I would take them and I'd lay them out and I'd bring all my samples and I'd let you decide what you wanted. And it was super fun in the beginning until people started to ruin it. Because, and hindsight is 2020, if I did that business today, I would not make things based on people's selections. I would make what I wanted to make and sell it. This is the bag, it's done, you buy it, end of story. Because that was where it went really poorly. You're dealing with people's bad taste, people's, I have to have black on my lining. You don't want black on your lining. You can't see anything. I have to have black. I don't want it to get dirty. Okay, well, the outside of the bag's white, so that's a moot point, but okay. People picking out stuff and you going, ooh, I don't like those together, and now I have to look at it while I make this bag, and it's giving me anxiety. And so I did that. And so I would take all the orders. I'd run to the quilt shop as soon as I was done with the party. And I'd take all my orders and I'd get all my yardage. So I didn't make a whole lot of money. I was constantly running back and forth. And I have an accumulation of strips of fabric that I would just hope was still in stock. Because how do you know that someone's not going to go in and finish off a bolt? And now I'm like, hey, so you can't have that bag that you wanted.
And was that before the internet where you could
He was. Well...
It was not
there was an
online.
internet, but it wasn't the internet that it wasn't, the easy shopping. It wasn't like all these sources. The day that I discovered fabric.com, I was like, oh my God, what is this? All this fabric? And I could just scroll on my computer because I didn't have an iPhone because that wasn't a thing.
No.
That was fun too. You have the internet on your phone. I do. So just remember how lucky we all are right now. Even if you don't understand technology, just remember how lucky we are even 10 years ago. So it was a gamble and it was fun. It was really fun because what would happen was I had this core group of friends. It was a coworker of my husband's. I got to be friends with his wife. Then I got to be friends with her friends. And then every single one of them wanted to have a party. Because what I would do, now keep in mind, I sold party light candles in my early 20s. So I know. So I would go, Marlene, it's your party. I'll come to your house. You get hostess credit. So when Barb and everybody else buys something, I figure out the percentage. Marlene, you get $150 in free bags. What do you want? So profit was nothing. There was nothing there because I could not price anything and because I wouldn't stand up for myself and say, no, that bag is $75. Okay, it's $40. I didn't make any money. But when you walk away from a weekend and you're like, I made like $1,500. No, you didn't. You did not. You didn't. It cost you $17 to do it, and all of your free time. So what was wearing on me was that I had no free time. I was literally telling my friends, like, no, I can't go out and have a drink with you. No, I'm not coming out to the movies. No, I don't have time to do anything. I'm antisocial to begin with, so that didn't help. But I'm like, no, I have to spend my entire weekend, every single weekend sewing. I got done at work at 4:30. I sewed until 10, 11 o'clock at night. I sewed every single weekend. I was burned out making stuff that I didn't want to make. So it was boring. And then to top it off, and this still irritates me. That one customer that always has to put you over the edge. I was getting close to wanting to be done with this, but I was like, well, I still make money. It's getting better. I'm getting more creative. I'm making all these designs. There were no patterns at that moment. I was thinking about it, but I hadn't done it. I remade her bag 3 times. When is enough enough? 3 times, because every time I explained to her, you're not going to like it. It's not going to look the way you want. And I'd make it, she wouldn't like it, and I'd remake it. So that was my history. And I stopped making bags around 2011, and I haven't looked back since, because for me personally, it's not a business that I want to be in. Like I said, I think about it sometimes. I look at my samples and I'm like, I kind of want to have a sample sale. I kind of want to sell them, but I just don't love that side of the business. And so I kind of hesitate. So that was my background. That was much longer than it was supposed to be. So what I want to talk to you about today, the number one question that I always get asked when it comes to bag making is, how much do I charge? How do I figure out my pricing? I also get asked a lot, can I sell things from your patterns? The answer to that is easy. Yep, do whatever you want. I don't care. Don't mass produce it. Don't send it off to a factory in China and have them make 8,000 of them. And if you have the chance, give me credit. If you're selling it on like an internet platform and you can say, Diva Wallet by So Many Creations, I appreciate it, but I understand it doesn't always happen. And I understand that client base is different than the ones buying patterns, so it doesn't always matter, but it's nice to give credit. Be aware, since we're talking about this, I know you want to talk about the pricing. I have to work my way into that. Be aware that not all bag pattern makers feel that way. Read the back of your pattern, read their website. You may have to contact them. You may have to talk to them. I don't personally agree with it, but that doesn't mean that it's my decision to make, and I don't want any of you to have anybody upset with you. And I've seen, again, I'm online a lot. I spend a lot of my free time looking at bag designs, bag patterns, bag everything. I've seen people get not into trouble, but get into arguments with people of, you're not supposed to sell my pattern, and the whole thing. Don't do it to yourself. Just, find out who is good and who's not and what you can do, and just make sure that you kind of keep it low key. There's also a whole big thing with licensed fabric and stuff. I just try to stay away from anything that might have a lawyer calling me. I just don't really like to deal with that. So you make your own decisions. As far as money, I have some information for like websites and Etsy, which I will talk about, but I want to talk to you about the bottom line, which is the dollar amount. So when I worked at a jewelry store, excuse you, it's very loud. I worked at a jewelry store for a few years. We sold like really high-end, custom jewelry. And so I was dealing with an owner directly of a small business. I wasn't dealing with like when I worked in college at Old Navy. I was dealing with someone that was running a business, started it from the ground up, and pretty much knew what she was doing. She had her moments, but she knew what she was doing. So our thing was always 3 times. And the reason for 3 times was 1 is your cost, 1/3 is your labor, and 1/3 is your profit. So it always made sense to us. There's always going to be things where you have more room to, kind of fluctuate and more room to figure out that pricing. When we sold really big pieces, like big giant diamonds, the markup's less. Because I can't always multiply a diamond by 3 times. No one's going to pay, $25,000 for a little tiny diamond. So you have to kind of work with that and work with what feels right to you. And what's going to always feel right is underpricing yourself. And don't do that, because seriously, and I will say it again, do not change your prices to fit someone else's budget. It happens here with cars. It happened at shows with cork and patterns. It's probably happened to both of you selling bags with long arming. You do not need a bag. You do not need to have barb quilt your quilt. These are not needs. If I have made a bag that I have priced at $100, but your budget is $75, that is a you problem, not a me problem. And I don't mean to be cold about it, but you have to get that in your head, because If any of you are anything like me, and I know you are, you're a bunch of pushovers and you're like, oh, but do I sell the bag and make less money or do I not? No, don't sell the bag and make less money, because the minute that you start underselling yourself, you set that bar for everyone else. Marlene wants to buy one of my bags and I tell her it's $100. And then I have to hear Marlene's sob story about why she doesn't have $100. And then I feel sorry for her. And I'm like,
You feel sorry for him.
well, she's a friend and she's dealing with some stuff right now, you know, and her sister's a really great customer of mine. Oh, okay. How about I do it? Augie's medicine is expensive. See, this makes me sweat talking about this. It's a horrible conversation. So now I say to Marlene, can you do 60? I'll do it for you for 60. So now Barb is like, whoa.
I want one for 60.
How come hers was 60 and mine's still 100? So now I have that situation. Now Marlene comes back because she knows I'm a pushover. And she's like, hey, remember last time? I want to buy 2 bags from you though. I want to buy a matching set. What's my price? You know, the price. So now I have set that bar, and now Marlene knows I'm a pushover, and Barb thinks it's really unfair that I'm selling to her for less money. And people talk, and people hear things, and people stick to your guns. Stand your ground. I understand how frustrating it is, but Marlene is not my customer in that case. She's not the customer that I want if she's going to sit here and tell me that. If we're having a conversation and she's like, oh, that's more than I wanted to spend, let me think about it and see if I can do that. That's different.
Right.
I don't need to chime in and go, oh, let me give you a break. And I had it happen to me at shows. Well, I was here yesterday and I bought 4 pieces of cork. I'm like, yeah, I remember you. Do you have any deals if I buy another one?
No.
And a lot of times my answer was literally no. Because you don't owe anyone an explanation. And you need to, in your head, remind yourself of that. And here's the funny conversation that would happen in my head, especially if my husband was at the show with me, because he is a bigger pushover than I am. But he's a pushover. However, when I am, he gets mad at me. Same way I get mad at him. I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? So I would sit there and I'd have that person going, oh, I was here buying stuff, you know? And I'd sit there and go, okay, if I do this, they're going to keep coming back and bringing their friends back, you know, like, hey, she gives deals. Hey, remember when I bought that? She'll give you a deal. And Eric's going to be annoyed with me. So I'd have this whole conversation in my head and my answer would just be like, no, end of it. I don't owe you an explanation. The same way as when everybody rates on their orders, how do I get a coupon code? You watch my Facebook lives and you pay attention to what I have going on. That's how you get one. I don't give them out. Coupon code is a thing that comes up on every website, whether it's Target or my website. It's a thing that they put on there. You don't owe anyone. So here's the thing. I was looking at kits that I had on the website. So let's say that one of you buys one of my kits. You're going to make that kit and you want to sell it. How do you know if it's a fair price? So I was just looking because it's a pretty good size bag and it's all cork at the Fiona kit, the new one that I just put up with the lemon yellow and the polka dots. That kit, and I'm not talking about the pattern, that kit is $80. So that is what it's going to cost you to get that in your hands, but you still have to sew it. So in my theory of 3 times, you should sell that bag for $240. Is that a lot? It's a little overkill, in my opinion, for that bag. It's not leather. It's not a high-end Coach kind of a bag. But could I get $160? Could I do 2 times? I think so. I think absolutely. So I'm in the 2 to 3 or even 2.5, which 2.5 is $200. And it sounds like a lot. And saying it sometimes is hard because you're like, how much is this bag? $200. But you say it with confidence and you know that what you're doing is a skill that that person doesn't have. That is the other thing you have to remember. So when it comes to that labor is a very gray area, and so is profit. You have to know exactly what your cost is. You have to keep track of that. I know that when I bought that kit, it was $80 because I did the math for you. That's exactly how much you paid. You got everything that you needed. But the labor and the profit, labor is not just the hours I spent making the bag. Labor is the sewing machine that I bought. It's the needles. It's the thread. It's my iron. It's my ironing board. It's my time and all of my little things in general. My profit, maybe when I made this Fiona bag, I'm so good at it and so quick that my labor is like 3 hours. I can bang one of these out real quick. Do I change what I'm selling it for? No, because it doesn't matter if you know what your cost is, you have to use that cost. And I would say anywhere from 2 to 3, but get closer to 3 if you can. Because you want to keep doing this as a business, you need to set the bar that people understand you're making a high quality item with high quality goods with an expensive sewing machine. They didn't buy that sewing machine for you. I guarantee you, majority of you have spent a minimum of $1,000 on a sewing machine, if not more. That machine that I have from Janome, which I did not purchase, but if I had, is $10,000 to $12,000. I have to factor that in if I'm making something because it's a very expensive thing. That person buying it doesn't have it. Just like out in the shop, when we're putting tires on, we have a balancer, we have a tire machine, we have lifts, we have tools. You don't have those tools, you can't put the tires on. So you're not just paying me for my service of putting on a tire, making a bag. You're paying me for my education, my knowledge, my goods, all the things that I have. And that's what you have to remember. And I know how hard it is. This is why I made no money doing this. Because I look at a bag and I'm like, I spent like $25 on it. Oh, I'll sell it for like 40. That's not a profit. I should have never been selling that bag for less than $50 to $60 minimum. And it's never going to be easy. The longer you do this, the less intimidating it will be. But you also just have to remember, and I'm picking on her because she's sitting next to me, the Marlenes that want to sit there and nitpick, she's not your customer. She's not the person you want to deal with because the only reason she's coming back to you is because you gave her a discount. And I deal with it here. When I tell someone what their car needs, I have to remind myself, I didn't break your car. I'm not the one that didn't take care of it. You need it to get to work. This is the price that you have to pay. If it comes in less, the labor was less, the parts were less, I might be able to help you out, but you have to pay for that service or you have to do it yourself. So when you're dealing with people, I'm sorry to tell you this, and probably a lot of you know, and I don't mean this as a general statement, but your friends and family are probably going to be your worst customers ever because they always think that you can do something for them. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, because I'm your mom, I'm your sister, I'm your aunt's friend. That doesn't matter. Everybody gets treated the same, just like when we're here, just like with long arming. Barb works for me. I've known Barb for like 10 plus years. She doesn't give me a discount when she long arms for me, and I don't ask her for one because I need a service done. So do I want to put money in her hands, someone that I know, that I respect, whose work I like, or do I want to find a random stranger and even pay more for it or pay less for it? But it's not, and then I tell Barb, well, I had someone else do it because she was less money than you. I would rather...
Last time I do it for you.
Right. And well, then all of a sudden she's busy every time I need a quilt done. Barb, do you have time? Nope, don't have time for you. And I was reading something. A friend of mine has a fishing business. And Shiloh, I know you're not watching, but I'm really proud of you with your fishing business. He's done a great job. He does these charters. It's really cool. Growing up in a small town in New York, we've done good things for ourselves. But he posted something one day on Facebook, and it's so true. And it said, your closest friends and family will spend double the amount with a stranger just out of spite because you won't give them a deal. And it's true. And I'm not talking about my mom. I'm not talking about, there's obviously people in my life that are not like that. But it is always those people that know you because they feel like, but I'm going to promote you. And I'm your cousin. Yeah. Do me a favor. Give me a deal. And when you tell them no, they will go buy that product somewhere else just because you wouldn't give it to them. And they'll spend more money. So standing your ground is going to be the hardest thing possible. It's harder than trying to price things properly. But it's an unfortunate part of doing business, and you just have to be very strong-willed about it and just learn the word no. And I learned the word no way later in life than I should have. And I have to tell you, it's an amazing feeling when I'm just like, no. That's all I have to tell you. I don't have to give you an explanation. I don't have to tell you why I don't want to do something or why I'm not going to change the price. And I deal with it here. I just sit on the phone very quietly and then I just say, no. And that's it. So it's always going to be different when it's your stuff because you're putting your heart out there. You're putting out, these things that you made. So I'm just going to say it one more time. But don't lower your price to make it fit someone else's budget. Number one thing. Bags are not a necessity. Food is. They need to buy food. They need to put gas in their car. They don't need you to make them a bag. When it comes to doing your pricing and comparing and looking at things, don't compare yourself to Target and Walmart and things like that. Those are mass-produced bags that are sold at a really low price. I looked at Target just out of curiosity. Most bags are in the $20 to $40 range. That's not us. One piece of cork for the bottom of a tourist tote bag is $24. You are not a $20 to $40 customer. That's not who you are. You're not that designer. But don't look at Coach either, because you're not a $500 bag maker. Could their bags be less? Yep. But they have a name that they've built, and you will build your name too. And eventually, maybe you will start to raise your prices, because all of a sudden, everybody wants Marlene's purse. Everybody's like, I gotta get a Marlene. See, I gotta redeem herself because
right.
I
You
was
want a
kind of
Marlene.
mean. Everybody wants one of her bags. So now she raises her price a little bit because now she's a premium. Now she's moving up there in the world. But you are
finally.
you are not Target. You are not Target. Don't go to Target and compare yourself to those prices. And that person that says, well, that same bag is like $30 at Target, you should go buy that bag. Because what do they say to you about quilting? Well, Walmart quilts are like $75. Then that's the quilt that you should have. Barb and her daughter-in-law also make quilts. Should they change that pricing?
Marlene does,
And
too.
Marlene does. I'm sorry. Should they change the pricing because, you know, Amazon has quilts for $39.99? Absolutely not. Those are not handmade. They do not have that labor and that love put into it. And that is the really hard part about what we do, because we will always compare ourselves and be compared to box stores, which we are not. We are not them. When it comes to your cost too, this is a thing that learning and things that I've realized after I stopped selling bags. I'm paying $6 a yard for decor bond. I'm factoring that $6 a yard into my bags. Excuse me. I get a Joann's coupon. I go buy a whole bolt of it and I get it for like dirt cheap. I'm paying like $1.50 a yard. I don't factor that in. That's my extra profit. That's my extra bonus that I just got. I don't now lower the price of that bag to reflect that. I now have opened up a wholesale account and I buy things wholesale from some different shops. I know what the retail is on that. I'm still remembering the retail. I'm still keeping my costs in mind, but my prices are not going to fluctuate because I got something on sale one day and I didn't the next day. I find my price, I find the thing that works, and that's where I stick. When you go on Etsy, you can look at those bag makers and see what people are selling stuff for, but they are all over the map and a lot of them are so underpriced because some people just want to sell it for fun. And that's fine, but the detriment of that is that Marlene wants to sell it for fun and Barb wants to build a business, but everyone's comparing her prices to Marlene's. She has a website and her stuff's like a third of your price. Yeah, because Marlene doesn't care. She's like, I just do it for fun. I just do it because it's fun. And Barb's like, but I'm trying to build a business. So you have to find your customer. You have to find your price. And your customer is not just your area. I hear people say that a lot. Well, in my area, this is what people sell it for. Well, why are you selling in your area? Sell it outright. Do you base your prices on other quilters in our area? You probably have a general idea.
Yeah, just to, because if I based it on somebody in the Midwest or something, forget it. It's so much less out that area.
Right.
But around here to be competitive, but I'm probably a little higher than most.
And in a quilting kind of a thing, where I would say most of your customers are probably local, right, Barb? Like they're coming to you. With bags, depending on how you're selling them, and I do have some information on that, a lot of your customers might not live anywhere near you. So you have that room to kind of, just to see what's out there. Barb has a question. I saw her write that down, and then I'm going to go back, and we're going to talk about Etsy versus websites, and I'm going to give you some prices. Yes.
I think that's where this question goes.
Okay.
Where do you sell them? Etsy or where else?
Look at the transition. It's wonderful. So I went on to my own Etsy site and my website, and I wrote down a bunch of stuff for you because I'm going to give you prices. I'm going to tell you what I spend and what you're up against. So, and I just want to tell you, just real quick, I went onto Etsy just out of my own curiosity, and I put into the search menu, cork crossbody purse. I felt like that should narrow it down to like not patterns, but purses. I didn't look through all the pages, but there were 4,694 results. Keep that in mind, because on Etsy, you are one of 4,694 results. Just remember that. There's good and bad to both, and I have been on Etsy for a long time, and I've had a website for a long time, and I will tell you why I feel strongly in different ways about both. And I'm going to kind of read what I wrote because I don't remember all of it. So let's see here. So when it comes to your initial pricing and what you're paying for, and as far as like setting stuff up, first of all, let's back up for a second. Etsy is a platform. Etsy is a place where you can very easily send people. You can give them your Etsy shop. So we're going to have Marlene have an Etsy store and Barb's going to have her own website, okay? So Marlene, she's not tech savvy. She doesn't understand websites. She has no time. She's very busy. She doesn't want to set up a website and she has no idea how to do that. Well, Etsy's a platform. If I do it on Etsy, I have all these people that can check out my bags. I've got this huge platform and it's easy. I click things, I fill in, you know, and a day or two, I got an Etsy site. That's easy. I want to do that. For Marlene, who isn't tech savvy and doesn't have time, it's not a bad idea. It's not a horrible idea. But what I would say to Marlene is, don't use Etsy as the only way that you advertise yourself and hope that people come to your page. Because 4,694 other people are also selling that bag, and they're selling something like that. But what Marlene could do is make her Etsy shop, and she could make herself business cards, or she could add it to her email signature, or she could put it on Facebook. Facebook's free. Facebook pages, Facebook groups, they're free. You don't have to pay anything for that. You just have to have a Facebook account. We all do. You all do, obviously. So Marlene could go on her Facebook page and say, I'm starting a page. I want all my friends to share it. Go on this link and you can look at all my stuff on Etsy. So why would she want to use Etsy? What is she looking at price-wise? Everything she lists on Etsy, she has to spend 20 cents. That's not bad. I can afford 20 cents. They did change that, and I'm glad that they did. It used to be per item, including the quantities. So if Marlene has 10 Diva wallets, she would have to pay 20 cents for each one. So 20 times 10. They have changed it. If she wants to do it as one listing, she can have her black Diva, her red Diva, her green Diva, and she can do it as a listing. The more you're on Etsy, the easier it is to use. It's a click and drop. You put in pictures, you fill out stuff. I copy and paste a lot because I don't change a lot of the information. So it's not a hard platform to use. And I'm just picking on Marlene as far, you know, I don't know what her tech skills are, but I'm just saying that's where she's going. Barb's giving her the thumbs down. But I think I would say even if Marlene truly can't use the internet that well, I think Etsy's not hard. You just have to walk yourself step by step through everything. That's all. So she is also going to, now she sells a bag, okay? So she sells a bag. She is going to also pay a transaction fee. So she paid a listing fee and she pays a transaction fee. And I wrote a couple things down here. So I had a $96 sale. So remember, minus 20 cents because it cost me 20 cents to put that listing up. And it cost me $11.52. That really eats into my profit of my $96. So if I'm selling bags on Etsy, I might want to raise my price even a little bit more. I might want to really make sure that I've got some profit in there because they're going to take that out. And that's not negotiable. You don't get to, negotiate with them. You don't get a different discount. Marlene puts that bag on there, instantly 20 cents gone. She sells that bag, gone. They take the transaction. It is a percentage. I did not figure out the actual percentage. So here's another thing that I don't like about Etsy. Etsy has what they call integrated payments. And what that means is you can use your credit card, you can use PayPal, you can use Etsy gift cards. I think they even have that Klarna on certain things, and I don't know. It's like an installment thing. And I don't have that. I don't know how you sign up for that. I'm sure there's another fee in that. So the reason I don't like integrated payments is because Marlene, she needs some money right now. She wants to go buy some more bag stuff. She's got orders she has to fill. Somebody pays on PayPal. She can't go in her PayPal account and get that money because it's not in there. It's an integrated payment. So depending on how she has things set up, she has to wait until everything clears for her to get her payment. Now, I have a daily deposit on Etsy. I don't get paid every day. It depends on how much I made, how much we spent on shipping, because we do our labels through Etsy when it's an Etsy sale because it's easier. And I'll tell you why I like that. And I usually don't get a deposit on Monday, and sometimes I don't get one on Friday. So if I sell that bag on Friday, I'm minimally waiting until Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, but I need money. I gotta go buy stuff. I can't get it. So integrated payments are not my favorite, and they forced us to do that. We had no choice. Here is your cutoff date. Do it by this date or we're making it happen for you. But that's just one of the things. One of the things I love about Etsy is that they protect me. So if I have a message from someone that says, I'm very unhappy, I don't like what you sent me, and I'm mad about it, and I want to return it. And I look and I'm like, well, the picture that you sent me is exactly what you ordered. We did exactly what you said. There is no issue at all. You just have changed your mind. And my return policy says I don't take returns, especially because I didn't make a mistake. When they decide to file a claim against me, Etsy backs me up. My website doesn't have that. I'm the backup. I'm the one that has to deal with it. So Etsy does back you up and does try to help you in that respect. So there's definitely good and bad. Etsy is great if you don't have tech skills, if you don't have time, and if you don't want to do a website. You can definitely make things work through Etsy, but it's those listing and transaction fees that are going to get you. And I'm not going to give you the numbers yet. I will give you them in a second, because I was a little blown away by it because I don't think about it.
Yeah.
So looking at my website, I did build the entire website myself. I am not a tech person. I am not an IT person. I am not at all. I use Weebly because I had heard of it like literally either on a Facebook ad or a commercial, and I was like, okay. So that was the one that I went with. Weebly has its ups and downs, just like everything. Nothing is perfect. So I picked Weebly because they sold it to me as click and drop. It's for the person that doesn't know how to make a website that needs to make a website. And all of my friends kept saying, well, we need a website so we can send pictures, so we can send your link to people and get you more sales. So, excuse me, I talk too much and then I burp. So I built my own website. What I love about that is I'm in 100% control. I can put items on, take them off, do whatever I want. There's no listing fees. There's none of that kind of stuff. There are going to be transaction fees because of credit cards, but my website also accepts all major credit cards. They accept PayPal. We also have our own gift cards. The gift cards are integrated as part of the website. There's good and bad. There's good and bad to the website. I have to stay on top of every single thing. I have to make sure that I am doing every single thing. I have to make sure I'm publishing it. As you guys know, our pattern got released early because I didn't think I hit publish. Maybe I did, but I have to be in control of it. And the platform on the phone is horrible. And I have told them that over and over. So I don't have my laptop. I can't do things to my website, but I can make as many pages on that website, on that drop-down menu as I want. I can put anything out there that I want. I don't have anyone watching me. I don't have somebody going, that's a bad policy. You can't do that. That shipping rate's not okay. I can do anything I want because I'm in control of it. You have a question?
I have a question myself. Do you have to pay monthly for Weebly?
We're going to talk about payment in a minute.
No mind.
I don't pay monthly. So let's just get down to it and let's just look at money, okay? Because money is going to come down. Money is always going to be a big thing with any business. So Etsy has good points. Etsy, I don't have to pay to be on Etsy. I don't have to be a member. I can cancel my Etsy page anytime I want to. I don't have to worry about domains. I don't have to do anything. I have to buy my domain name. I have to own certain things. I have to do everything on Weebly myself. So sometimes when we get a ton of cork in, I have to take every picture and do every single listing. I have to do that on Etsy, but there's a lot that I can group together. There's certain things that are easier and certain things that are harder. I think they're both pretty equal to use because I've used them for so long. I wrote this down. I got my website. What was it? Actually, I didn't write it down. I had my Etsy page since 2013, since January. My first sale was in 2015. Just remember that, because I didn't advertise it. I just had an Etsy page and I figured everybody would come to me, but they're not going to find you unless they're looking for you. The reason that I do well on Etsy now, and probably the last 3 years, we've probably been pretty good, is because I have a product that people want that not everyone has, and it's cork. That's 99% of what we sell. We do a little hardware, some pattern downloads. Majority of what I sell is on there. And I do tell people that are looking for other stuff to go on my website. Do you have wax canvas? Do you have this color cork? Do you have thread? Go on my website, because I know that Etsy takes more of my money. So I just looked at September. So since September is finished now. So now we do pay for our shipping labels through Etsy. So I'm not including that in the total because that that doesn't matter. That's not part of the fees. In September, I spent a total of $445.26 in fees. I spent $85.60 in listing fees. So that was that 20 cents every time I listed something. Every time something sells out and I relist it. I spent $262.46 in transactions. Okay, so that was just the fact that they said, we got it, you sold something, I had to pay them. They didn't sell it, they didn't ship it, but they charged me for it. And here's another fun thing that they started doing. Now, if I have clicked something and signed up for this by accident, I don't remember doing it, but it just kind of started one day. I get charged $97.20 for marketing. Do you want to know what that means? Because I do. So they do what they call this, how did it come up? Outside marketing or something. So basically Etsy picked me as like a top shop. I think we have like 15,000 sales or something. So like they were like, hey, we're gonna do a little marketing for you, do an ad for you. So somebody saw that ad somewhere, clicked on it, bought cork from me, and I got charged for it. So I got charged on that, the listing fee, the marketing fee, and the transaction fee. So just keep in mind, in September, 1 month, 30 days, $445.26. Remember that. Weebly, my business plan that I pay for. I have 2 plans. One has to do with email and one has to do with my business plan. I spent $492.48 for a year, the whole year, yep, and $103.68 for another year. I have 2 plans through them. So I didn't add that up, but will you add those numbers for me real quick because I can't do math.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, add that up. We're around 600 or so. Somebody out there is shouting out because they're really good at adding stuff. 595.
596.16.
596.16 for an entire year. That's a whole year. So what I paid in fees on Etsy, I basically paid for a whole year of owning my domain and having my own website. I do pay for my domain name because I own it. So if you want to have a website through a lot of these providers, not just Weebly, there's a ton of them out there. A lot of people use Shopify, and I don't know enough about it to tell you, but it's probably the #1 that I see for people selling our kinds of things on the internet. I do own my domain so that my domain name is just my So Many Creations and why it doesn't have like -Weebly or anything like that. I pay $200 for 5 years. So I'm already paid up for 5 years, and that's just because I own my domain name. So if I decide Weebly's not for me, I can take my domain and go anywhere else that I want. I can go to GoDaddy, I can go to Shopify, I can do anything I want. That domain is mine. And until I decide I don't want it, no one else gets to use it. And it comes out to be $39.95 a year. When you buy your domain in like 5 years, you get like a little bit of a discount. So I think per year, if I did it each year, was like $45 or something. In credit card fees, so I told you that I had, my listing fees, my transaction fees, all that I paid from Etsy. That doesn't matter how people pay. I get charged a transaction fee no matter how they pay. I only get charged a credit card fee on my website because they process PayPal, but that's a separate entity. So for a $60 payment, I spent $2.04. So yes, I spent $600, $700 to have all my stuff for a year plus, but then I'm done. I don't have to pay that again until next year. I don't have to pay for my domain for like another 3 or 4 years. I sold $60. I had to pay them $2.04. That's it. That was the credit card fee. If you paid on PayPal, the PayPal fee was $2.58. That's it. So financially, the website is a much smarter place for me to be. But it's not for everyone. I understand that. And it's not something that everybody wants to have. But I wanted to have it because it was mine. And I could do anything I want to it. And I can change it if I want to. If I decide I don't want to make patterns and sell cork anymore, and I want to sell bags again, it's my domain. I can do anything I want. Etsy, I have to restructure everything. And one thing with Etsy I always have a hard time with is the banner. The banner that you have to put at the top of your shop is the most awkward size ever. And up until recently, I did not have Adobe Illustrator and did not know how to make a fancy banner, and I still haven't made one. And I find it really irritating. If you're going to tell me that I have to make a really odd size banner for my shop, you should give me a template. Don't you think, like, give me a way to make it instead of making me find someone to source out to make me a banner. So I wanted to give you money because I wanted you to understand, you know, where to spend your money and where not to spend your money.
While we're on domain
Yes.
and everything, who is it that's asking? Mary is asking, how do you buy a domain name? And what service do you use?
I bought my domain through Weebly because I was using them to do my website. So whoever you decide to go through, and there are independent, you can Google it. My husband's website is through GoDaddy. I don't like GoDaddy. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there. They're probably gonna watch and shut me down. Mark Zuckerberg probably owns that too. I did his website. It's fine, but I don't like the platform. I found it as someone who has had a website. I think I started mine in 2010 because I think I started it with bags before patterns. So we're talking 11 years. And it's, to me, it's a piece of cake. I know where everything is. The GoDaddy website I wanted to hang myself. It was horrible. I barely got through, and now Eric's like, can you update something? I'm like, no, I don't want to. So, and why is mine through one and his through another? Because that's what husbands do. So.
I know somebody else that had GoDaddy and they had a hard time with it.
I find it not user-friendly, and I think that on a scale of 1 to 10 of being tech savvy, I think I'm like a solid 7. Like, I think I'm pretty good with that kind of stuff, and it still was too much. I did not like it. He does own his domain. We bought it through GoDaddy. GoDaddy charges way more money because I think I had to pay for 1 year almost $1,200 for his website.
Gosh.
Yeah, I was not happy about that. So, aside from money, aside from pricing things out and selling things and where you're going to sell them, I just wrote down a bunch of like other little notes of things that just to kind of keep in mind, things that you're going to have to think about. And if you think about them now before they happen, it's a little bit easier. What kind of policies are you going to have? Excuse me. What if something breaks? What if I sell this and the zipper breaks? Do I have to fix that at my cost? Do I charge the customer? If they have wear and tear and they want me to put a new handle on, where do I stand on that? And what's my time frame? And I got into this with, it was only a few customers. Like, my mom can destroy a bag like it's no one else's business. That woman has never asked me to fix a thing. She just deals with it and just says, I'll get a new bag. You know, Barb rips, I rip things. I had a handful of customers, and it wasn't everybody. Every time I turn around, I broke a snap, I ripped this, this is wearing, this looks bad, this is wrinkled. I don't have a good answer for you on that, but figure out how you feel about that, what kind of repair policy you have. At our shop, we have a mileage or a month, you know, this many months, this many mileage, warranties on parts. What kind of warranty do you have? When do you draw the line? And what do you charge them? Marlene bought a bag from me and she needs the handle fixed. It was 6 months ago. Should I fix it for free or should I charge her for the handle? You know, you got to kind of think about that. And the more thought you put into that now, when that situation happens, you're not so thrown off guard. Custom or pre-made? I did the custom thing. I didn't like it. You might like it. You might get a big thrill out of looking at people's choices and making things. I did not. And I'm sure the ladies can tell you, as long armors, there's probably some quilts that are hard to deal with. And some that they're like, I love her stuff, it's so fun. You know, there's quilts that have big wrinkles and don't want to quilt out. That's not always a thing. There's things that you kind of do I want to deal with that or not? Now, if I'm going to start, me personally, if I'm going to start selling these bags, that's it. That's what you get. They're done. I'm not making changes. If I decide that I want to sell a bag, you get what you get. I'm not making custom stuff. Custom was not something I enjoyed, and I think that's why I got burned out so quickly, because the fun was gone. The fun in what I do when I write a pattern is that I decide what pattern I want to write, and I decide what I want to make for a sample. And I have this challenge, this internal challenge with myself. Do something you haven't done before. So like Aria, I've never done anything like this before. I want to do something different. And what corks have we not used? What corks, we have it, we think it's beautiful, but it's not selling. What do we want to pair it with? What corks do we want to show off? I always tried to make a very conscious decision at shows to not have all the same looking stuff. That bag has blue cork and that bag has a print. I tried to show people because it's helpful to see how things look. You have to decide how you want to handle that. And maybe you want to do a small percentage of customs. I sell these bags, but here and there, when somebody wants something, they're like, I love this bag, but I just don't like blue. Would you ever do it in purple? And you can be like, yeah, that one I can. That would be fine, you know? What did you guys, when you sold bags, you still do, and you did you just make them and it is, or did you ever take orders?
Rarely, but once in a while I would. But most times I just made them and made what I liked and sold them.
And what about you? You're selling just as is, right?
I am, well, I did a few orders, custom. Yeah, people wanted a certain thing made in different fabric.
So
But
it depends.
can I say?
Yeah.
I was telling Barb coming down, I had a couple of my racing fabric bags at Impressions
Oh,
in
yes.
Saratoga.
I don't know if you can hear Marlene. She's selling some racing
louder.
fabric bags. Yeah, because I don't know if they can hear you. We live, well, they live in like a where there's a big racetrack. Yes.
Okay. The woman asked me how much I wanted for each bag. So a makeup bag, $25.
Absolutely.
Sounds reasonable to me, and I think they're going to mark it up $5 or so. Yesterday, when I got my report and the check, they had marked it up $20 and sold it for $45.
There you go.
A simple
So-
zipper
A
bag.
simple zipper bag.
That's
So they're
another.
marking it up.
That is another
Quite a
note that I
bit.
have too. We're going to talk about boutiques for a second. I'm sorry that this one is long, but I have a lot of things to say. Along the same lines of customs, not customs, repairs, what about returns? That was what got me into an issue. Now you're shaking your head. No. Me, because I was making a custom bag, because I was in my 20s and I was like, I want you to like me. And I already sold it too cheap. I took returns. Because if she doesn't like it, she's not going to use it, she's going to trash talk me. So I would and wasn't so much returns as much as it was, I'll take it back and make you a new one. Know where you want to stand on that. Personally, all sales are final. That's how I feel. I'm talking if today I wanted to start this, all sales are final. You're touching that bag. You're looking at it. You see how it looks. You bought it. You bought it. It's yours. I'm not taking it back because you changed your mind. And that was part of the issue that just keep in mind when you do custom work that you may come across that more because somebody in their head, it's beautiful. And then you make it and they're like, and all you're thinking is, I know, I told you that. I told you it wasn't going to look good. Keep in mind, you also have to factor in, remember we talked about that 3 times. It's not just labor. What about packaging? All those pink and blue envelopes that we send to you, I pay for those. That's not, you don't pay for those, I pay for those. So do I have fancy packaging? No, I don't. We don't do fancy packaging. We don't roll every piece of cork and put a beautiful ribbon on it. I'm sorry, guys, it's not going to happen. Not unless you want to pay twice as much for the cork. So do you want to do fancy packages? Do you want to just keep it simple? Do you mail things? Do you include that in your price or do you charge for shipping? If you're doing custom bags, what's your turnaround time? And don't make it crazy for yourself where you're like, I can do it in 2 weeks. And you just told 6 people that and you're like, oh, I don't have to. I can't do this. My kids have things. I have stuff to do. Keep in mind, it's totally fine for custom work. If you're out 5-6 weeks, how long is your quilting? How long are you out right now?
8 to 10.
8 to 10 weeks. 8 to 10 weeks. Because I'm paying for her services and I don't want to rush her. I don't want to be like, hurry, Barb, and then have her rush and have her frantic. I want to make sure that I'm paying, and if that's what she says, then I wait 8 to 10 weeks. That's what it is. These are all things that just keep in your head. Since Marlene brought it up, I have a very quick boutique story. Hers went a little bit differently than mine. The report and check was basically where yours went differently than mine. I had a woman. She went to a quilt shop. She saw my stuff there for my patterns. I was not making and selling stuff. I was like a little bit, but not a lot. I was at the very end of that and really just getting into patterns. Probably talking 2011. She walked in. I love all this stuff. The owner said, it's not mine. It's for patterns. But here, contact the owner. See what she wants to do. We had a fantastic meeting. It was one of the nicest. We hugged. It was beautiful. We had a great time. She's opening a boutique. I love your stuff. I made this woman so much stuff. I told her what my prices were. I got email after email saying, oh my God, they're selling out. We need more. We need more. We need more. I was like, that's fantastic. Where's my check? I'm sending it to you, but we need more. Can you hurry up and get more? Can you hurry up and get more? By the 3rd or 4th, can you get me more? I finally, and my husband was a big part of this because I am a pushover, was like, time out. If she's selling all this stuff, where's your money? Because you're fronting all this, she's not giving you any money. And I politely called her out on it and was like, just a question. You keep telling me you're selling everything out. Where's my money? Oh, I'm getting you a check. I said, you know what? I'm going to have to stop you there. When you get me a check, I will get you more stuff, but I'm going to need you to get me a check, and I'm going to need to see the updated inventory list. I was smart and I had an inventory list. I don't know what she was doing with this stuff, but to this day, 10 years later, I have still not gotten paid. I did get all of my stuff back that she didn't sell, but I am still waiting for that check because I got scammed. And because she was somebody that knew somebody else and she was so nice, don't fall for the nice. Have an inventory list. Get a deposit if you're giving them a lot of stuff. Take pictures. Do protect yourself. Have a written contract between the two of you that says, this is when I get paid and this is what you get. Because I got scammed hard and I lost a lot of money and I chalked it up to being naive and stupid, and I will never do that again. I will never do that again. Marlene's experience has been a little bit different as far as the fact that she actually got paid.
But she actually had another one.
But that was another thing, what she just said, in case you didn't hear. Marlene, how much do you want to make on this bag? $20. And they're selling it for $40. So just remember that they're going to mark it up. And here's a question. If they can sell it for $40, why can't you? Mm-hmm. Do you want to make half the money and do the same amount of labor? Maybe that's what you want to do because it's easier for you. Maybe Marlene's super shy and she doesn't want to promote herself and she doesn't want to get on the internet and she's like, hey, I make money. It's cool. And that works for her. Maybe for you, you're like, hell no, I need to make all the money. You're all different. You all have different personalities. And I've seen the posts. Oh, I just do it for fun. It's just because I want to do it. I just enjoy doing it. And the ones that are like, no, I legitimately want to have it. I want, Barb's Bag Business to be like the next big name. You have to decide where you stand on that. And Marlene,
BBB.
The BBB. She's the BBB. See, but there's no M. Marlene, you can only do messenger bags. Marlene's messenger bags.
There you go.
So you have to decide. And I am not knocking either one of them or anybody by any means. You have to pick where you want to be. My boutique experience, total loser, would never do it again. Absolutely would not.
You lost everything.
You lost.
Oh, well, I was making
wool, wasn't it?
wool mats and stuff. Woman had a business in near Schuylerville, primitive stuff, and I brought her a bunch of wool candle mat type of things, and she loved them. And next thing I know, she's out of business, and I got nothing back and got no money.
Yeah, it's amazing how fast people's email doesn't go through and their phones get disconnected when they scam you. Yeah. And unfortunately, Marlene's was just as bad as mine, and so I did get some of my stuff back. But it resulted in a very large argument, and it also resulted in this woman writing horrendous things all over my Facebook page, calling me every name that you can possibly get away with that's not a swear word. I was the dirtbag. So there's that. So my boutique experience, not good. Rewind, long time ago when I used to make hand-painted ornaments, I had a lovely experience with a woman that owned a hair salon that used to sell my stuff at Christmas time. She was a friend of a coworker. Great. But I was also like 20, 21 years old, and I sold them to her for nothing. So of course it was great. She was like, $5 an ornament, here's your money. She would pay me up front because she knew she was going to sell this stuff for good money. And I was too dumb to realize what was happening. Because when you're in your 20s, you think you know everything, but you legitimately know nothing. And I'm sorry if you're in your 20s. I'm just letting you know it gets better. It gets better. If you're watching, you're in your 20s, 30 will be better, 40 you'll get so smart. And sass mouth. Crazy. So.
And when you get older?
And as you get older, you literally lose your filter. You're like me or don't like me, I don't care. So what can you do right now? What can you do today with your bag business? How do you promote yourself and spend the least amount of money? Your friends. If I make you a bag, or like if I give you, can you carry them around? Like, you always go to these events. Yeah. Could you take my bag? Would you take it when you bartend? Would you show it off? These are my super good friends. That is the exception. These are not just two people that I'm kind of friendly with. These are super good friends of mine. Like, legitimately, I really do love them. So I'm like, if I make you each a Diva wallet, will you take them? This is the price. Will you give out my business cards? Would you do me that favor? Because you talk to a lot of people I don't know. That's fine. If I say, you know, if they want to buy it from me, that's even better. If they're like, no, let us buy, like, we want to do that you're starting a business, we'll promote you. And if I'm like, can I give you some business cards? Would you hand them out? Would you take them? Always have business cards. Business cards are the cheapest way to advertise. Go to Vistaprint. They're dirt cheap. Go to your UPS store. They're even cheaper. That's where I get mine from. Take your business cards everywhere, because as soon as somebody sees you walking around with this and you're like, oh, I have a website. Oh, do you have a pen? Here you go. Come to my website. Majority of those people are not going to go on your website and buy stuff. People get wrapped up in the moment and they're like, I love this bag. And then they don't buy stuff. But you never know. You never know who's going to be the person that really means it and really wants to buy stuff from you. When we used to do shows, I used to bring with me probably 300 to 400 business cards, because every person that walked out of that booth with a package got a card. We put it on the cork. We threw them in the back. You have friends? Take extras. My husband is the king of, here, have some extras, and he'll give you a stack. We gave out so many business cards. People would just walk by and grab a business card. You're doing a craft fair. You're sitting somewhere where you have your stuff on display. Have business cards. You cannot go wrong with having a way to promote yourself that's quick and easy. Here you go. Fits in your wallet. Get your name and get a logo. Getting my logo, and I've had the same logo for 12, 13 years. I could probably update it, but I love it. I still love it. A friend designed it for me. He did it for me. We bartered. He designed it. I made his wife a bag. It was an easy thing. His wife is actually one of my best friends. But I was like, hey, your husband's graphic designer and I'm not. So I bartered with people. I got a logo. She got a purse. It was a win-win. You know, I promoted myself in that way, because now every time you see that turquoise and pink So Many Creations, you remember me. Get a name, get a catchy, cool name, and get a logo. Because once it's done, it's yours. If you are thinking about getting a website, get your domain name. Start it. Even if the website has nothing on it right now. Even if you're not ready to do it, get it before someone else gets it. Because having, you know, Barb's Beautiful Bags, there's probably not going to be a lot of them. But if Marlene wants to do, like, you know, stylish, creative, those kinds of words, they're going to go. Get your name, get it in there, and get what you want. Sign up for Etsy. You don't have to pay for it. If you want an Etsy site, sign up and get your page done, and then put stuff on there when you're ready. There's nothing wrong with that.
Somebody said they had an Etsy shop for 3 years and had one sale.
Yep. Here's how my Etsy experience went. I opened it in January. In December, I remember this very vividly. So 11, 12 months later, I sold one thing. And I was like, yes, I'm in. And I sold nothing. It was around probably 2-3 years later when I started. Every month I would have, a pattern here and there. And I look back at my history, and you can look at the year, zeros every year after year. And then all of a sudden there was a month that was like a few $100s. And I was like, that was the month that things started. Yeah. Because it didn't happen until I had cork. Because nobody is looking for a specific bag or looking at my patterns, because I need a wallet pattern. They're going to find the first one that's cute and buy it. And maybe it's mine. Maybe it's not mine. So for me, Etsy, and I didn't quit. Don't quit. Etsy was a failure for years. And then one day I was like, I guess I'll put the cork on here. It couldn't hurt. I have an Etsy page. I might as well. That is when things change. 3, maybe the last 4 years, Etsy has been decent. I think, what did I write down? Do I make like a third? I'm trying to say here. I make about a quarter to a third on Etsy of what I do on my own website. I did look for all of 2020. I forgot to throw this out there. Not including shipping labels for the entire year of 2020. I spent $3,700 on transaction fees and listing fees on Etsy. Do you want to spend $3,700? Maybe you do. Maybe you have that and it's integrated into what you're doing, and maybe you don't. I obviously spend way less doing my website. So just, some things to think about. What else did I write over here?
I do have a question.
Yes, please.
Barbara would like you to possibly speak to wholesale pricing. She could never make a profit on a bag that I sell at wholesale. If they can sell at retail, so can I.
Exactly. Here's, excuse me. Wholesale is hard in general with anything. And right now, like personally, I'm not selling at wholesale. when the pandemic started and things started to get kind of hairy for me trying to get supplies, things were not shipping quickly, things were not going as smoothly as I needed them to be, I stopped wholesaling because I put that on hold, because if I'm selling things for half or I'm selling things for retail, I still have bills to pay. So currently I don't sell at wholesale. We don't do wholesale here either. Like, as a repair shop, we don't do wholesale. So the problem with wholesale is that that person is always going to expect 50% off. That is what wholesale is. So if this bag I sell is $60, they're expecting me to give it to them for $30. My thing is, if I can sell it for $60, I'd rather do it myself. But if you're going to help me out and you're going to sell it in your shop and your boutique and whatever, you don't need to make the full profit. That's just how I personally feel. So maybe my $60 bag, I'll do it for you for $40, $45. They're not putting in the time and effort that you did. So if you're selling it for $60 and they have to buy it for $40, $45, they make $15 to $20, that's the best that you can do. If they're going to try to sell that $60 bag for $100 and they're doing it, there's no reason why you can't. So as you probably heard, both of our boutique experiences were not the best. Marlene's was a little bit better than mine. One was worse. They're not the best thing because wholesale's always going to be hard. And no offense to anybody that works at a shop or that does anything like this, do not be offended. But just like my business is always going to be my number one priority, so is theirs. So they're always going to want the best deal so that they can sell it to their customers. They're always going to want it for the best deal that you can give them. Do not be afraid to say, it was nice meeting you, but this is probably not, I don't think this is going to be the best relationship for either of us. I need a certain price. You want to pay a lower price. I just don't think it's going to work out. I just feel very strongly that when it comes to handmade goods, when it comes to quilts, when it comes to making things and long arming, we deserve to make top dollar because we have a skill. Just like a mechanic has a skill, just like, lawyers have skills. You call a lawyer and they charge you when you call them. Why can't I charge top dollar for my handmade product that I am making? It's not mass produced. I'm doing it myself and I'm doing my best, highest quality work. So wholesale is always going to be a little bit of a sore subject for me. If I did this again, I wouldn't be selling them through boutiques. I'm the boutique. You can buy it from me. So I know it's a lot. And I know if you're just getting started, it seems like a great idea. Maybe on smaller things. Maybe on those things that you can whip out real quick. Zippered pouches, little diva wallets, little things like that. These big bags, it's never going to be the most profitable thing because you're not going to get what you want and they're not going to pay what you're asking. So I don't know if that's really an answer for you, but that's just kind of a personal opinion. That's just kind of how I feel about that. Any other questions?
Nope.
This has been a very long one today.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say all this. And the last thing I'm going to say before we call it a day is just to keep in mind that it's not going to happen overnight. If you are an overnight success, you are one of the few. You are definitely different from everybody else. Nothing is going to happen overnight and nothing is going to happen without persistence and determination. I'm sorry to sound like a, biblical quote here, like, but it's the truth. You can't quit. You want to have a bag business, you need to have it. Barb, Marlene, you have long arming businesses. Were they just great day one?
No.
Day one, Barb's making $1 million. No. You have to put the time and effort into it. You are the one that promotes yourself. You are the one that talks to people. It might be a year that you only sold a couple of bags. It might be 3 years before all of a sudden people can't get enough of you. It has to take time. It's the way that it is. Just don't quit. Try everything. And boutiques didn't work for us, but they're the best thing that's ever happened to you. My website is what I like, but you do amazing on Etsy. You have to find the thing that works for you and don't just listen to someone. Barb wants to come over and go, I'd never sell on Etsy. That's just a waste of time. Well, it was for her, but maybe not for me. Don't listen to all the negativity because it's always going to happen. It's always going to happen. Talk to people that you trust. Ask people, people that that understand it. You can ask me questions. You can email me. I might not have the answer, but I will always be honest with you. And I'm not going to be honest in a negative way. I did really well the past few years on Etsy. I do great with my website. I did fantastic at shows. But if you went to some of those other vendors, they tell me every single day what a horrible show it was, made no money, this is a waste of my time. If I listened to all of them, I would have quit doing shows 2 months in. Well, you wonder, and that's another thing too.
Why do they keep coming back?
Are you really having a hard time?
Yeah.
Or are you trying to deter me from doing what I want to do? Because there are those people in this world.
Oh, yeah.
And we all know them. I don't want you to be successful because it takes away from my success. I don't believe that. There's room for all of us. I don't tell you can't buy other people's patterns. I know there's some awesome patterns out there that make me jealous. I'm like, damn, that's a beautiful pattern. How come I didn't design that? But it's just the way that it is. I see fabric designers, I see quilt designs, I see all these things and I'm like, I get jealous and I'm like, man, I wish I had that. I'm sure you guys probably see stuff and you're like, that's a nice long arm, that's a cool design. Look at the quilting she did on that. Don't compare yourself. Use that to push yourself. That's your fuel. That's not for you to be like, I can't do this, I'm horrible at bag making. You need a pump, you need someone to tell you you're doing a great job, post something in the group. That's why we're nice. That's why we do it, because we want you to know that you can. And that is all. That was a very long Facebook Live, but
An hour and
25 minutes. I
Oh
hope
my
that it helped. I hope that you learned. I hope you're still here. And
still
I
here.
will post that on YouTube. Next week, I don't know what we're doing, but one more Friday. We have one more Friday that we're here. And the next Friday, I will be in Texas, and we will be doing Facebook Live, I hope, from the showroom floor. Hopefully nobody yells at me and it's okay. But my backup plan is, if they don't want me filming or like doing it live, I'm going to film some stuff and edit it and put it on YouTube. So one way or another, you will see what Houston looks like.
Awesome.
All right. I will see. Well, I won't see you. I will talk to you guys on Friday, and have a great weekend. That's all.
Bye.
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 Bye.